everybody, and welcome back to Is It Kino? There's no question about what or whose show we're on today. I am Simian Jimmy, joined as always by my partner in crime, E. Rich McCoy.
That's right, we've got a rockin' good episode for you guys today with all kinds of music from the Swan himself.
And a man who once said, an assassination on live television coast to coast, now that's entertainment. It's Eggy Eggman Rodriguez.
True, and just for the record, I've been saying that for at least 7 years. That's about as far back as I can remember anything, so definitely at least that much.
And you know him from the Movies and B-Bang podcasts, it's Low Res Wonder Bread.
And per the penultimate episode of B-Bang that just came out, I did not watch the movie in preparation for this episode. However, you picked one of my favorite Brian De Palma films, so it was a very good strategic choice. I have a lot of reverence for this movie, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Well, before we dive into it, should we go into the lore and backstory of why Low Res said on his own show, next time I go on Is It Kino, I'm not watching the movie. Even if it's my favorite movie of all time, I will not be watching it, he said.
Well, he didn't
That's
watch
right.
it for this episode.
Yeah, so
I did say that.
Why did you say that? What could have happened?
What could have happened is I dedicated a chunk of my day to watch Rocky and Bullwinkle the movie 1.5 times, and then we proceeded to watch it. I talk about it for maybe about 25 minutes, 26 minutes. If I'm being generous.
Now, I mean, this is very. I feel like I'm in bizarro world, to be quite honest, to hear this criticism from Low Res. The Movies podcast, I don't know if you've ever listened to it, but if they talk about the movie for 26 minutes, that's considered a miracle.
But here's the thing, you know, when we really go off course, at least there's $100 payment in it for me. This time around, it was just, I fall asleep during the movie. I got to restart the movie. Fuck, I got to talk about the movie in an hour. Oh no, I'm watching it up until the last minute before we're set to go and record. And then we immediately go off base, which is fine. But
you also said
that not fine for me.
You said every point you wanted to make about the movie in the podcast. So what more are you asking for, to be honest? Like, you wanted to make up some new points to make?
Well, so here's actually where my grievance came in, because we do these crossover episodes and it's like a simul release. I didn't have an episode queued up for that day for movies. So I wound up missing the release date as a result of that. And instead, there were 3 B-Bang episodes that went out during the week instead. So it then trickled into, okay, well, I got to record for 3.5 hours today with Hans so we can make sure that we're all lined up and ready to go, because we had to take a little bit of time off for the tour.
And you don't like to spend any more than 2 hours at a time with Hans, right?
That's right, yeah. I got to be very, very selective with that, or else I get agitated.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Low Res's revenge podcast. He's coming on. He's going to throw off course the whole time. He didn't watch the movie, pulled a real Hans, but it is what it is. We know why now.
No, I'm just going to talk about Body Double the entire time instead. I'm going to talk about Blowout.
Let's talk about
all my
Blowout.
Favorite De Palma movies.
Yeah, we can talk about Blowout.
Speaking of musicals, me and Eggy just watched an Elvis Presley movie called Kissing Cousins, where Elvis plays a dual role, where he plays like a military guy, and then he also plays his long-lost hillbilly cousin who lives out in the mountains of Appalachia and fucks his own sisters. But then Elvis comes to town, and now the sisters who are his cousins now want to fuck Elvis instead. So Elvis and hillbilly Elvis fight each other quite a bit, and it's a Kino film. We didn't finish it, so I didn't log it on Letterboxd, but one day we'll finish it.
Sounds like a pretty good deal for those cousins. Being like our hillbilly cousin who looks like Elvis, we get to fuck him. No, we get to fuck actual Elvis.
To be clear, Eggy, what were the lyrics to this? Because it's a musical, and Elvis is singing, "The most beautiful girls are my cousins." So, like, the opening song was like very explicitly sexual about fucking your family, right?
Yeah, the second, runner-up for the best song in the picture is it's called "Two Little Girls." I got 2 little girls for just the one man me, and he's like frolicking through the forest with his cousins. I could go for one, but 2 little girls are so lovely, because like he wants both of them. I mean, basically, in 1950s terms, he's pretty much hitting it both raw and like at the same time. He's like alternating. He's doing his hip swing, but he's basically like hitting one cousin with each thrust. I mean, it was Really a fantastic film. I couldn't recommend it enough.
Well, it only
finish it one
became
day.
taboo to have a romance with your cousin as of maybe 1970. Albert Einstein married his cousin.
Smart man.
Well, I did hear that.
Edgar Allan Poe.
I
obsessed
think
with his
people from
cousin.
the Einstein family did that for about 3,000 years. You know, they were keeping it pure, I heard, keeping it divinely selected. So.
They didn't want it to be incest. They just couldn't date outside the tribe, and there were only so many people available. It is what it is. Another great musical film, perhaps, Phantom of the Paradise. E-Rich, I saw you gave this a 5-star review recently, and you said on a rewatch, it's far superior. And I'm curious, because I just watched this today for the first time. So what did you get on a rewatch that made it so much more kino?
Yeah, so like when I first watched it, there were some things that kind of like threw me. This movie like sometimes will shift radically from one thing to the next, and if you're not prepared for that and you're not kind of like on the wavelength that the movie's trying to like get you on, that will kind of throw you a little bit. So once you can kind of expect the turns and the curves of the story, it is much more rewarding. And then like also just the music, I just feel like I was not expecting the music as full bore as it was in this movie, and then once you kind of know the songs a little bit better, it really plays really well. And then also just De Palma just fucking rules. Every time I go and watch a De Palma movie, it's just like, Jesus Christ, we had it so good.
I guess for people who don't know, this is De Palma's take on Phantom of the Opera. And it's, I mean, as far as I've never seen any version of that, but as far as I can tell, it's a carbon copy of the plot elements, you know, beat for beat. Is that about right? Is anybody familiar with Phantom of the Opera?
I mean,
I'm familiar with
generally,
it
vaguely.
conceptually.
Okay. So
I don't think I've ever sat down and watched any incarnation of Phantom of the Opera now that I'm thinking about it.
this might be the only one. And you didn't even watch this one.
But I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
it many times. And actually, this is the movie that probably turned me on to being open-minded about watching musicals. Are you guys on like a musical arc right now? Because I noticed you had put out Wicked right before this.
That was not by choice. That was a viewer suggestion, but I'm generally a fan of musicals. I've been in a few myself, so you know I'll watch anything. I think I've always been open-minded about that. But the music here, it's not like your standard shitty Broadway musical fare. This is some cool rockin' music that I could hear. You know, I could imagine hearing on the radio of any rock station. I mean, it was some real killer music the whole time.
Well, they had Paul Williams handling the music, and he is very well known, well recognized for being basically what he is in this movie, and you know, very talented songwriter. And he's great also as an actor. He also has a cameo in The Rules of Attraction, if you've ever seen that, the Bret Easton Ellis adaptation. He's very solid. I think what probably most people recognize him from outside this movie is The Muppet Show that was broadcast in the 1970s, if you've ever seen that.
Big Muppet fan, Eggy?
I mean, I'm sure that I saw some of it when I was younger, but I think I was more for the Baby Muppet cartoon or whatever was on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or whatever it was, Disney, whichever channel, and you know, of course, Sesame Street. But I think my Muppet intake was lower than it probably should have been. From my understanding, there's a lot of real Hensonian kino in that department. So, you know, but hey, just more for me to enjoy now as an adult. You know, I could really break it down into a 12-hour long video essay about these children's cartoons and productions and really savor the flavor more than ever.
Are any of you familiar with this Faust story? This guy who makes a Faustian deal with the devil, because that's also very much what the story is aping off of.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
German story, right?
Well, you're friends with
so it
Florian,
borrows
so you
from-
could probably explain it to us, right?
Yeah.
They
Well,
also
yeah, I
borrow
mean,
from the picture of Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray, right?
So you got those three elements there. Also, on the music note, I remember reading a while back that they tried to get the Beach Boys for this movie, but I think Paul Williams, like his ego, like would not allow it. Like he felt like he would be too insecure acting in the movie or performing in the movie if the Beach Boys were also in the film. Like he'd be thinking about what their opinion or perspective on all of that would be. So they didn't go.
That would be
for
a fucking crazy inclusion to just have them like doing all the juicy fruit stuff. I guess they just like show up in various forms. throughout the movie.
Drive a vehicle with a bomb inside and die horribly.
Well, why I bring up Faust in the music discussion is because I thought it was very creative how they did this. The main character wrote basically a 200-page rock opera about Faust and, going head-to-head with the devil or whatever's going on in it. But then the songs are playing throughout the movie, and it has a double meaning because it's also about the plot of him going up against, music executives or whatever this guy is supposed to represent, saying basically if you try to get into the industry of entertainment in any way, you're making a deal with the devil and you're selling your soul. And to have these like double entendre songs of his Faustian, kino musical being sung while he's sneaking into this guy's mansion, I thought that was very clever and fun. And I don't know if I've ever seen a musical where there's a musical within the musical that has a double meaning.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good pool for them to use Faust just because the Faust story is very kind of open because it's essentially just a deal with the devil and then the guy gets powers and then at the end of his life, he's like, oh shit, I have to suddenly go to hell for this. And so at the end of the story, he's dragged down to hell by the devil. And usually all the people that he's impressed along the way sees him being dragged down to hell. So all of the prestige and kind of fortune and amazing talent you've accrued is just suddenly dragged down to hell with you. So filling that in with Portrait of Dorian Gray and then what was the other story they used for this? I mean,
Phantom of the Opera.
Just using Phantom of the Opera, using all of those elements together really fills in the story and lets them fill out something that's kind of not a whole lot to do.
So if the Faust story ends with him being dragged to hell and not getting anything good, that's basically how this ends. Like he does all this to save the woman he loves, and then he doesn't even really get to be with her for 1 second at the end of the movie. He's just dragged away by everybody and dies. So real Faust moment.
And so, is the exchange here that he just gets super popular music for her? What is he getting out of this arrangement? Is
he has
question.
been completely cucked beyond belief. They've taken his music, and then he's still trying to collaborate with this guy who's betrayed him and left him for dead, got him arrested, all this horrible shit. So as soon as he's re-collaborating with this man, just because I want her, I love her so much, only she could sing my music. He's basically given up on himself completely and wants to just give a life to her, make her famous. Right. And, it made me disgusted. He's up on the roof watching the executive make out with the woman he loves, and he pulls out a knife and stabs himself. Come on, man, you can't let these women have such control over you. This simpery is out of control, Phantom. Move the fuck on.
Don't put the pussy on the pedestal.
That's the moral of the story. And the what's his name? Swan, the bad guy. Since they made this devil contract of music and whatnot, he can't even kill himself. He can't even own his own death. The music executive owns him even in death. And recent events, people taking over other people's narratives after their death, isn't that the truth? You don't sign these fucking deals with these devils, folks, because you'll be a puppet on a string when you're dead.
Especially, there might be some people who are, very devilish. There might even be some literature out there that says that there's certain people who might be spawn of the devil, the sons of the devil, and they might really, also be controlling certain things. I mean,
we should say Hans was going to be here, but after some things we said on the previous episode, he does not feel comfortable talking to me and Eggy anymore.
Hans got a call immediately following the release of that episode, so I don't know.
They offered him $150 million to say some nice things.
I think it was a call from Bill Ackman. I don't know.
I've heard a lot about him lately from this colored woman. I don't know her name. Let's move on.
Let's move on fast. Where do you guys have you guys seen Rocky Horror Picture Show? I feel like this movie is an interesting intersection between Rocky Horror and then Rocky Horror sequel, Shock Treatment, because you also have the actress in this movie, Jessica Harper, who performs in that movie as well, and the aesthetic is somewhere between these two. Although I think this movie is far superior to both of them, personally.
That's what I was going to say, is that this is so much better, and that movie has such a cult following and has this, huge built-up fan base, and when you watch that movie, there's definitely fun parts to it, but it kind of, drags on to some extent.
Well,
and it's
didn't
like,
Disney has shut down any sort
rep
of
screening.
current release of this, right? So they got the entire library from 20th Century Fox, and I think there were plans to do like a remaster of this movie that wound up getting kiboshed, and now they won't even let like theaters screen it. Revival theaters, older theaters, they're very clamped down about it.
So how did you guys watch this if it's impossible to get? Because I paid for a DVD $30 on eBay to watch this. So did you guys illegally watch this online or what?
I paid somebody in a back alley to give me a double VHS for it.
Yeah, I got a Nigerian Subway bootleg of this.
Oh, okay. That sounds legal.
Iron Man was on the cover, right?
That's right.
Rich, should we bring in a new segment I want to call What Does Easily Impressed Jess Think of the Movie?
Sure.
So on our Toxic Avenger reboot review, we talked about this guy if you want to hear his backstory, but he gave that film a 5-star because it was, libtarded in nature, and that's his main basis for reviewing movies. Rich, what do you think Easily Impressed Jess gave Phantom of the Paradise?
Let's say 5 stars if he's easily impressed.
Well, no, actually 4 stars, Rich.
Wow.
He might have been offended by the film. Can you imagine what might have offended him to lose a whole star?
Get this fuck out of here.
There's a few things that hold Phantom of the Paradise back from being perfect. 1 or 2 sequences go on just a little too long. Hey, isn't that what we just said about that other movie?
That's a full star down just because a couple things go on a little bit too long.
The paragraph goes on, but I wanted to get your reaction to that because we just basically said that does not apply to this film.
Yeah, I like watching this again. I really did not see much drag to it.
This shit is like 86 minutes. Like, when did he get bored?
Right.
Like, it's just nonstop music, pretty much. Anyway, there's also a bit of 1970s cultural insensitivity towards homosexuality, which is surprising considering how campy and queer the overall tone is. So much so that the movie has become a cult classic in the gay community. He's getting offended on their behalf when they love it. They love it.
Yeah.
Well, and he's not going to mention the fact that the character who, Mr. Philbin, it's funny because there's at the beginning, I forget if it was Swan or if it was Mr. Phantom. I think it might be the Phantom. He's wearing a shirt that looks awfully familiar to like what Sam Hyde looks like in 2025. And then this Philbin guy is like extremely Nick Rochefort coded, but he says something about to the effect of a disparaging comment towards Asians, and obviously Jess does not care about their plight. I can't believe that he'd be so insensitive to not recognize that in his rant about insensitivity.
Yeah, Jess, go rewrite that review and plug in all the racist elements as well. Any other advice for easily impressed Jess before we move on to the next segment?
I'm curious to know if this person would find the character of Beef to be too stereotypical.
I love Beef. Beef is great.
Beef is awesome. I love Beef.
When he's in the coffin and they unveil the coffin, and just like he shoots them such a great look. It's just insane.
It's kind of this interesting, like glam rock character. I think this predates Kiss or anything like that. If I'm correct, because this is what, 74 or 75?
Yeah, 74, I believe.
Yeah, Kiss might have been out, but I think they might have still been using their old pre-makeup persona at that point. Or it was very close in any case.
Yeah, 73 is when Kiss started, but I don't know if they were using makeup by then. Oh, yeah, they were. In 74, they definitely had the makeup. But this movie would have been shooting around then, so maybe they were just like, huh.
Eggy, I don't know if we've heard too much of your music analysis here. Is this inspiration for the upcoming album?
Oh, very much so. I really, it was good. The themes of the music in this film, they're not at all dissimilar to what I've been studying in my creation of the album that I'm working on, that would draw I wouldn't say entirely, but definitely a good portion of the energy, the atmosphere, I think, from this particular time. It's just some good rock and roll, but it's still incorporating some of these good themes of everything's got to be about love, and it's as the songwriting is going on, you can really feel sometimes simplicity, even though that the complexity of the Faustian opera is really driven in here, that this is something that took a lot of time to make, and it's very near and dear to the heart of the composer, but still at the same time there's definitely a structure here that I've come to realize was very popular at that time, and if it sounds good and it has this emotional impact, it doesn't need to be all preachy, it doesn't need to have a whole lot of extra, snarky, high IQ, pseudo-intellectual stuff going on. So that's just how I've been feeling as I've been putting this together. I'm like, okay, it's another song about my baby. I love your love from above.
That might have been from the Elvis movie, Eggy. You're getting them mixed up, I think.
I know, but there's still, it's coming through here still at the same time.
Is this a message of sincerity? Maybe you're not going to have any irony in your poison-laced lyrics here. You're going to be a very sincere songwriter now.
I think I've been turning a new leaf. I think maybe the fact that I've been off of social media for such a time now. I've been out of certain, heavily internet-influenced circles. I've taken some time, a lot of months out of this year to just, be with myself and not needing to, incorporate my identity around memes like what I've done for the last 20 years. So I feel like there's been some more sincerity coming through in my own works, and yeah, I feel like even though all this music was obviously made for this film, there is such a sincere feeling to it from a composition perspective, and then also fitting into the larger picture of the film in itself. All the music was, because I'm thinking to myself as it first starts, and we open with the Juicy Fruit singing their number, and that was a good performance, enjoyable. But I'm thinking to myself at that point, I'm expecting this to be a musical, and I'm expecting there to be a lot of numbers in it, and I'm thinking to myself, this could be something that gets me caught up a little bit. There could be some problems maybe getting the music to weave in comfortably with the other scenes in the picture, and that was not an issue for me at all. It all seemed to fit together very well. Obviously, we mentioned the runtime is about 90 minutes, and that's with a few minutes of credits thrown in there. So yeah, like you said, about 86 maybe, and everything's so tight with how it's all put together, how it's paced, and we get so much in that time frame that there was never a point where I'm like sitting and waiting for something musical to go by. It all just worked very well.
On the tip of the sincerity that you're referencing there, I think what's interesting is that you have this character Swan, who's clearly like a Phil Spector surrogate, because he was the top producer during that time for so many musical acts, and you have these characters that are like clearly referencing, I guess, like the culture that's either coming about or going out of, the pop mainstream at that time. And it's all a riff on, and it's very campy, but I don't think at any point it feels like a parody of those things. Did you guys get a different sense of that?
I mean, I think it's definitely a parody of the system, the recording industry system, but not actually the music itself.
I kind of felt like as that scene in the earlier part of the film after the women are coming in to try out for singing the music that's been stolen.
That's not even parody, is it?
Yeah, it's literally
it's
just like
literal.
a revolving door of prostitutes. Like, oh yeah, I don't want to have sex with her, so yeah, she's out.
Yeah, we have like 30 women waiting in line for a singing audition, and then when they walk in, it's just the guy throws her on the couch and gets on top of her, just straight up, I assume Harvey Weinstein style. But Lores says maybe he was innocent. Is that right, Lores?
Well, hey, now, first of all, it's 74. It's more like, what would it be, Jack Warner, Walt Disney style during that time. Harvey Weinstein, let me tell you right now, he's not a good guy. He's an amoral guy. But a rape, like a hold him down and force your member into them rape, he didn't get up to that.
Yeah, I thought he couldn't even get hard.
I don't think so. I think the flap was in the way. He had a full stomach.
Even in that movie, what was that movie that had the chick from Barbie in it? And she had to go up into the office of the CEO, and he said, "Oh, turn around."
Babylon?
No, not Babylon. It was
not Babylon.
What was that called? Like Bombshell? It was probably Bombshell. But
yeah, that sounds right.
The most damnable thing in the entire film is that like she had to spin in a circle. He could like see part of her ass hanging out of the dress. Like, if we're making a movie, can we at least maybe do a rape? Like, this seems kind of lackluster.
Just as a rule, if you're making any movie.
For this movie in particular, about like the Me Too movement and this Bombshell. Like, he ogled you to see if you look good because you're going to be on camera. Whatever. Like, he didn't touch you. Why is this a movie? And I might be misremembering the movie. So if there was a rape scene that maybe was so brutal, I blocked it out. Maybe that could be the case.
That was the Fox News movie, right? So that would probably be Rupert Murdoch.
Probably.
Yeah.
One of the most wealthy, powerful individuals alive. So to make that movie, I think to begin with is very tricky for anybody involved. But yeah, if you're going to do it, go all the way, right?
Was that Jay Roach who did that?
I don't know. I don't even know why I saw that movie.
Because we need to get educated, You're going to come in with an impactful moment that's going to sear these horrible Hollywood executives as demons in your mind. And
hey, speaking of Jay Roach, though, did he make those Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers movies?
He did, as well as Austin Powers.
Me and Eggy just watched those, and I saw Lores gave them all half stars on Letterboxd.
Did I?
You hate the Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers more than you hate Rocky and Bullwinkle.
No, that's definitely not true. That can't be true.
The review scores don't lie.
I was hacked. I didn't do that. That's not me. That was probably Hans on my account.
Why would you give these Ben Stiller classic Robert De Niro comedies half stars each?
Meet the Fockers. Listen, the last time I watched Meet the Fockers, I was on like a triple date, not even a double date, when I was like 13 years old. And it was at a second run movie theater. And the girl I got paired up with was not interested in me at all. She said, "Ew, I don't want him touching on me." She said that. And I heard her say that. So my whole memory and my feeling around Meet the Fockers is not a positive one. So listen, maybe I need to go back to it. I bet the first one's funny, though.
You know what pisses me off is Lores, and this is how we got into the Rocky and Bullwinkle debacle in the first place. Lores will rate movies on Letterboxd that he has not seen in decades, just based on his memory. So Lores quite literally gave Meet the Fockers a half-star review because a 13-year-old girl rejected him like fucking a decade earlier.
Like, why would the producers of this movie make this girl?
Why would they make me so greasy and disgusting and smelly that this girl didn't want to touch me?
Let me also clarify, I was also 13 years old at the time, okay?
We all assumed that.
Last week. But no, listen, Meet the Fockers, Dustin Hoffman, he's a treat. You
gave it the half star. Why are you defending it?
I'm sure it's the full star.
I think personally, I kind of felt like Meet the Fockers was maybe a little bit more of a well-balanced film. But I will say I think Meet the Parents would actually be a superior date night movie because you see Ben Stiller just behaving like a monster terribly. I've never seen such a forgiving woman in my life as his love interest is in the film. He's like, no spoiler, but let's say he's desecrating, her grandmother's ashes, letting cats use his litter.
That's not fair. That's not fucking fair. No, the cork popped out of the wine and broke the vase or whatever. He did not intentionally spill the ashes on the ground for the cat to shit in. I think the worst thing he does is that he lets the cat outside, it runs away, and then he finds a similar looking cat and just paints it to look the same. If somebody did that to me, I'd shoot them in the face. It'd be over. If you let my cat outside in the first place, if you're sitting in front of me on a bus, I'd do something, if you know what I'm saying.
And the message is, you know what? You got your date there and you're like, hey, look how much better I am in comparison to this horrible monster. I've hardly desecrated your family's memory. I've hardly done any animal cruelty in your presence. You know, it's pretty much time to give me all of you.
Show your date the video of the Ukrainian girl on the bus and say, "Look, I'm not even doing that to you. Look how much better I am than that guy."
On a first date, just being like, "I would never do this."
Put on that new Da Baby. You guys seen that one?
When he saves her. What a hero.
Are you guys going to factor in the original Meet the Parents into your viewing? Because I only learned kind of recently, within the last year, that they bought an indie film from the 90s called Meet the Parents and remade it with Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro.
Oh, shit.
Do we have to watch that before Fokker-in-Law comes out next year?
Is that a real thing? They were doing another one?
Yeah, they're really doing
There's Little Fockers in 2010 that we still need to watch, and now Fockers-in-Law.
Dustin Hoffman's like 90 years old. How are they going to do this movie?
He just has to play little Queermo again.
He's a real swan, you know. He just really, no matter what's going on, he's still got that youthfulness to him. I think he could be 100 years old. There was a guy with that Thurman Sturm, or whatever his name was, that senator that was in office for like 70 years. I saw this picture of him from 1960. He already looked like he was 100 years old. I was like, how could he get any older? And then he's like hanging out with the Clintons and stuff in like 2000. He just looks like they vacuum sealed him, and he's looking like pure raisin mode. And he still had a nice, big, discolored, and hard to distinguish smile on his face. I think Dustin Hoffman's going to be right there with him.
Adrenochrome. Adrenochrome.
I mean, I last saw Dustin Hoffman in Megalopolis, right?
I last saw him yesterday in Mega Doc, which he's featured in way more than Megalopolis even.
Is that...
Yeah, because he did 2 scenes.
When can I see Megadoc?
It's only in limited screening right now. I was able to catch it here in Miami, and it was like one showing at 1 o'clock. And it was actually really enjoyable. It's so much of Shia LaBeouf getting into arguments with Francis Ford Coppola because they're so polar opposite in how they see movies. Like Shia's like, this is all real. We got to be real with each other. This is all the physical. It's the relationships. It's the material of whatever we're doing. And Coppola is like more like, well, no, you figure out the movie in the editing bay. We got all these different scenes, like just completely so different.
Coppola's like, I want to sit in the silverfish and tell you what to do, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
So you get a lot of him, you get a lot of John Voight, you get Dustin Hoffman. Some of the actors were big shot in the documentarian. And he's like a legit director too. He directed Leaving Las Vegas, Mike Figgis. So it's good. It's a good doc.
Will it recontextualize Megalopolis when you rewatch it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's everything you already know, which is he spent a hell of a lot of money. And he had control, and then like the firings and the controversies that broke out were literal nothing burgers. It was just people who got shit canned and were bitter and went to the press afterward, and they kind of show all that. So
okay, that sounds good to me. Between that and Hearts of Darkness, it just seems like whenever Coppola goes out to make a movie, there's gonna be great documentary that comes out after that.
There's a great soundbite in it where Shia LaBeouf's giving an interview, and he's sharing that Coppola said, I've been a director for 50-something years, and you are by far the most difficult actor I've ever worked with. And Shia LaBeouf, of course, took grievance with this since Marlon Brando showed up like 60 pounds overweight.
Yeah, right.
He wanted to shoot it one way, but Shia was the biggest problem.
Damn.
Is that why Shia doesn't get much work? Not the cancellations, but nobody wants to work with his annoying ass?
It probably comes into play a bit. I mean, it probably is mainly just they can't take out insurance on him. It looks like that's starting to change. But you can see he sees it one way and he wants to inflict that on the set, regardless of even if it's Coppola directing the movie. Not in like a disrespectful way, but like in a very one avenue sort of way.
Yeah, there's such a balance of like how much of an asshole you can be while also being talented, that like you always have to be balancing and being like, how worth it is it for us to get this performance?
Totally. And you actually see that in the documentary where they're like being respectful with each other, and then by the end of the shoot, like after 30-something days, they're just like leaving mid-sentence in conversations. Like Coppola will be saying one thing and then Shia will just walk off before even done talking.
Right.
Can we write a movie starring Shia and Ezra Miller for Low Res to direct?
You want to get Ezra Miller in there?
I want you to have to work with both of them. Maybe they're playing brothers.
Oh boy. What is that movie?
Probably the rape movie I was talking about earlier, but for real this time.
We're putting it together in real time.
All right, here. I just got this picture. It just came to me. So, it's 2,100. I don't know, tentative. The obesity crisis has reached an all-time peak.
What happened to Ozempic? Was it banned by the obese overlords?
Maybe Ozempic was actually like a trap door kind of deal, and all the weight you lose, it actually just comes back, like your body just reinflates.
Oh, no.
So I'm thinking that we're talking about what's the problem with the Harvey Weinstein biopic. You know, he's over here, he's just like, ooh, you know, he's looking at girls in leggings and like licking his lips. You know, it's not really giving us the real intensity of the situation. So I'm thinking what's going to happen is, in order to repopulate the human race, Shia LaBeouf and Ezra Miller, they need to jump out of airplanes naked.
Oh.
Okay, and the momentum that's generated by their fall with their erect penises that's the maximum force necessary to be able to penetrate and impregnate the average American woman in 2,100. And you met Mickey 17. They got him like going outside the spaceship, and they're like, "Oh, now you're dead," and you got to like make the new clone. It's going to be they're printing Shia LaBeouf and Ezra Miller, and they're just jumping out of the plane over and over again.
So the movie's 100 minutes of those two guys naked times 100.
Like I said, it's a tentative thing. It just came to me, but you know what? All you developing screenwriters out there that are looking for your big break, feel free to steal that. You know, plug in your hard to work with actor.
Well, Lores is the one
Coppola
directing
method
this,
here,
right?
because Coppola, like he said, he makes it an editing bay. The film is your paint, and the editing bay, that's your studio. Okay, you need your paint, and then you got your canvas there in your studio. So just film hours of naked men jumping out of airplanes with erect penises, and you're gonna make it happen. Okay.
Can we somehow figure out how to shoehorn Gary Busey in there now that he's a convicted sex offender?
Oh, God.
I think Gary Busey would be a great pilot. Like, he could really, like, he's a good fucking plane.
And I doubt
Just
we'll
do
find
this
any
thing.
women to volunteer for this role, so should we have Hans in fat woman makeup and prosthetics?
That could be real cute. That could work. I mean, honestly, Ezra Miller might be woman enough. Have you seen what he looked like on the red carpet recently?
So are they swapping roles, and Hans is jumping out of the plane with Shia naked to impregnate the world?
To impregnate Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's all you know, like we're developing the paint right now. We're like the caveman in the cave. He's got the beetles. He's hitting them with a rock. The red beetles are turning into a red paint, and we're rubbing our fingers on the cave wall right now. We're putting it together.
Just to bring it back full circle, we should also make it a musical.
Okay. Can Hans sing?
I can make him sing.
There's
I made
no-
him sing before.
Yeah, did he sing in
They
Disorderly?
sing well.
True.
Just in Mass State, not in Disorderly
Okay.
yet, anyway.
Yeah, are we allowed to say that we watched like the opening 40 minutes of Disorderly?
An early opening 25. It's still
Okay.
very, very early. But yeah, you could say that.
Oh, yeah,
of
I mean,
course.
it was both me and Eggy's sections were in there, so that was pretty exciting to see. Now I don't even have to watch the full movie. I saw my part, so you know, I'm
It might
good to
be
go.
different. It is going to be different.
Oh.
I'm switching out a few. It's going to be. I mean, Mass State went through 50 different versions. By the time this actually comes out in the theaters next year, it's going to be probably nothing you watched in that RV, the horrible RV I'm haunted by.
That we watched on like an 8-inch screen.
The
Yeah.
Fly V. Yeah.
The ideal
That
way
place
every
was
director
fucking-
wants their film to be seen is on an RV 8-inch TV with like the
with
shittiest
flies
sound.
all over the television. Yeah.
Do we have any final thoughts on Phantom of the Paradise?
Yeah, I would be. It would be amiss to not say that the anime influence in this movie is incredible. Just because in the Berserk manga and series, there's a character who also makes a deal with the devil and puts on the exact same mask as the Phantom does in this. Yeah, so Griffith becomes Femto, and the mask is such a striking thing that they just took from this movie. So, yeah.
Does
Love
Guts
Berserk.
have to kill him?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's kind of
Spoiler alert.
It's kind of the point of the thing. It hasn't happened yet because the author died, but I'd assume that would eventually happen.
Wait, this movie from the 70s has a plot element based on something from Berserk that has not actually happened yet 50 years later?
Well, the author took inspiration.
He
from
just died recently.
Enter the Paradise.
Oh, it was the other way around.
Yeah, but he was making it in like the 90s.
I was going to say, for a second, I thought you said Berserk was first. I was like, hold on.
Yeah,
that shit's not that old.
Even like Swan's whole appearance, it's very period appropriate, but also at the same time, this sort of like extravagant, but not too flamboyant wear. He's got his, tinted aviators, the hairstyle, and it precedes things like, I'm feeling like, what's that, Legend of the Galactic Heroes? Is that what that one series is called? Just there's a very particular appearance here that I think, definitely you could see, and that's even besides the costumes and things, just a very particular appearance that I feel like had a real hold on anime characters. And what also is funny to me is that Paul Williams in this picture is the same age as I am now. So I don't know. I know they're smoking. I ain't no spring chicken either, but I could have definitely believed that he was like about 10 years older than his age was based on his depiction in the film. But I think in the scene when he's in the bathtub talking to the devil, he kind of looked a little bit younger. So I don't know if that was a conscious decision or if it's just my perception. But
wait, the Swan was only 34 years old in this movie?
1940 is when he was born, so he's probably about exactly my age that I am now. In this particular instance, so.
People who were 25 looked like they were 40.
Yeah, I guess.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
But they say it's because we drink more water, but I know Eggy, he's not drinking any water, so why is he looking younger than this dude? That dude must have been chain smoking or something.
In Mikey and Nikki, they're supposed to be 19.
Columbo was only 19 in that?
I'm kidding.
I like when he jumps over the bar. Oh, what a good movie.
Yeah.
Slaps the shit out of that woman.
Mm-hmm.
That might be from a different Columbo movie. Or was that in Mikey and Nikki? I'm getting all
Just one more thing.
There's lots of
He
Columbo
slaps her
movies where
again.
he starts attacking women, I think. I guess the moral of the story is have your 200-page rock opera about the thing that you like, your micro interest or whatever they call that, but never make a deal with anybody in a position of power when it comes to your art, because they're going to corrupt it, ruin it, steal it, and you're going to be more miserable than if nobody ever heard it at all, and you just kept it to yourself. And I think that's the message of the movie.
Beef's version was pretty good.
But look what happened to the artist who created the music. Like, he lost everything and then died. So never go to Hollywood, kids. Do your art as a hobby for fun. Go get a real job. Go work at the grocery store. Go be a bank teller. Or you're going to end up like the Phantom here. And he was a cuck on the roof watching his girl with a 34-year-old man who looked 50. And it was deplorable. So that's the lesson I learned from the film. I'm going to quit doing art. And I'm going to go apply to be an actuary, because I actually went to college for that and just decided not to do it. Lores, any final thoughts on this film?
Movie, I was just going to say, they could have called this movie Cuck on the Roof.
Yeah, they should have. Because the current title is a little bit confusing if you're ripping off Phantom of the Opera and then basically rip off the title as well. Like, we know what you're doing. You don't need to be that on the nose about it. Call it Cuck on the Roof.
Well, Kiss also had a Phantom movie too, right? Phantom. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I know they did their take on Phantom of the Opera. But it was like an amusement park. Phantom of the Park. I don't know. But hey, if you guys wind up covering Cats the Broadway musical, not Cats the movie, send me an invite for that, because I love Cats.
Do you have a slime tutorial that we could watch?
A slime tutorial?
That's what they call the cam
rips.
rips. Yeah.
Okay. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. I mean, how else would
Actually,
we
I think
watch
there was
it?
like a professionally released video of it back in the 90s. It was like a 2-tape VHS.
Well, if we want to review that one, I guess we could put that on the list. Is Hans going to be down for that? Are you going to tell him it was your idea to watch the Cats musical?
Well, right now I'm coaxing him into watching a 4-hour Dime Square movie called Castration Movie that was just recently released over at the same theater that Mass Day Lottery played at about a week ago. So if I can do that one, I feel like Cats will be a breeze for him.
What is Castration Movie about?
Your guess is as good as mine. I'm just assuming the title is as on the nose as this movie's title.
It says ongoing anthology. Do they just keep adding segments to it?
They keep
guess
removing
so.
segments, it sounds like.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Lores, any updates?
275 minutes? What the fuck?
Yeah, he said it's 4 hours.
300 minutes?
Yeah.
Hans is
4
jorking
hours
it to
so
it
far.
right now.
That's 5 hours!
Lores, any updates on who really killed Charlie Kirk?
I think we have to watch the movie Dressed to Kill to find out.
Okay. I don't know that one, but I assume that's a great punchline.
It's
so
another De Palma one.
Okay.
It's got Michael Caine. It's very good. It's very, very good.
I mean, Scarface, of course, is his most famous, and it might be my favorite from his, but Blowout had such a funny ending that I'd recommend people watch that almost before Scarface if you haven't seen it.
Incredible.
Have you guys seen Body Double yet?
No.
No.
So
Never seen
Body
it.
Double it's not a musical, but it's like Body Double and Blowout, I think, are good commentaries in the same way that this is a commentary on the music industry, but on the film industry. And then Dressed to Kill is a bit of a commentary on like therapy and cross-dressers. And that one's very, very interesting too. You can't go wrong with like 1980s Brian De Palma, 1970, well, maybe some 70s De Palma. But then after the 90s, it's over. That's a wrap.
You don't
I
love
was gonna say,
Mission
it comes to a
Impossible?
Very quick.
Yeah,
Very
Mission
quick.
Impossible is like the way that I look at that is like Darren Aronofsky just directed Caught Stealing, and it's
Mhm.
like void of much of his style, but it's like watchable. That's what Mission Impossible pretty much is. Although you do get some De Palma shots in that movie.
Wow. No love for Mission to Mars.
Mission to Mars is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. There's PlayStation aliens in that movie.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What about Mars Needs Moms? I think they had PlayStation 2 aliens in that movie.
That's the sequel.
Should we
I
watch
watched
that
that one.
next? After Cats, we watch Mars
No.
Needs Moms. No, you've seen that
No.
one, E-Rich?
Yeah, don't do that to me again.
Who did it to you the first time?
Myself!
Yeah, don't trust anybody, not even yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, boys, I think that's it for this movie. Do you guys want to plug anything? Low-res?
Check out, you know what? I think if you're in the Southern Florida, Miami area, we're going to have a Mass Day Lottery screening announced very soon. I don't think I'm going to be in town for it, unfortunately. It's probably going to be a breakfast special. They're trying to book me before 10 a.m. It's like the worst time to show any movie,
Before
especially my
10 a.m..
movie. It's going to be a bunch of seniors in the theater. But if you're around Miami, go check it out. I'll have some listings at mslfilm.com.
Imagine you start
State
your day
Lottery.
with that movie. Like, is the rest of your day ruined or is it blessed?
I was gonna say, Mass State Lottery is not a movie you watch before lunch. Like,
You're not going to have a big appetite after, maybe?
yeah.
Maybe for a twink. Chow down. That's what Hans is doing in the film. Eggy, anything
That's
to
the
plug?
sequel.
Yeah.
I'll just give a quick final summation on the film here. I really enjoyed it a lot. Highly recommend it. You know, no zestery, but, you know, Beef, he was really giving me real rock star energy, willing to play to, you know, the very end. I can appreciate that. I think that the cinematography and everything that's displayed with Mr. Winslow in his post-Phantom transformation, really good use of just, you know, like a bulging eye out of the mask, the platinum grills, you know, it's a little bit strange of a choice at first, but I think it really plays out well entirely throughout the film. It's very real. You know, even if you're Michael Jackson and you buy back all of your recording contracts and stuff, they might send a doctor to your house and give you some kind of weird prescription medication, and suddenly everybody that you bought back your recording masters from might suddenly just somehow own them again. So it's a dirty game out there, folks.
Is Taylor
There's a lot of
Swift the
money.
only one who reversed the curse of that game and released Taylor's version of all our music to just like double the revenue on one song?
You know what? It might have been a way to feed both sides, but I guess only time will tell.
And she's a billionaire. Had to have worked.
But with that being said, I would say just keep your eyes on mysweetmonkey.com because I'll have some more releases on the way, and you'll see them there first.
Now, you might think it's a very unrelated URL for the material now available there, but just trust the process, people. mysweetmonkey.com. You're going to like what you see. What about you, E-Rich? Anything you want to plug? Any monkeys you want to sweet on?
Get this monkey off my shoulder. Could I get... Check me out on Letterboxd, Revan138. I recently watched Ghost Watch, which is a British film that was aired and people thought it was real, I guess. A very good early found footage style horror movie, which I really enjoyed.
Are you following Easily Impressed Jess on Letterboxd?
No. I look forward to hearing him and his thoughts only from you. So,
should I look at his diary, see what he's been up to lately?
Yeah, absolutely.
Last 4 films, he gave 5 stars to all of them, but hey, maybe they're all classics. Psycho, okay, makes sense. Do the Right Thing, of course. Pan's Labyrinth, okay. The Long Walk.
The new classic.
The new Stephen King film, The Long Walk. As good as the greatest films in history. 5 stars immediately. Why not? I'm sure it's that good. Why not?
It's fine.
It's got to be
not
5
that
stars.
It's enjoyable.
Do you think he might have been easily impressed by it? But then he gives The Breakfast Club 4 stars. Fuck this guy. Fuck that guy. Okay, that's all I got. Peace, people.